welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead you? Who'd have thought they'd lead you? Back here where we need you. Back here where we need you. Yeah, the tease him a lot, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back. All right, give it a stretch. Oh, good. Oh, that's good. All right, welcome back. Hopefully that last break session was a good one for you. I mean, work session, because it was pretty productive for me. I got started laundry, so that's going. That's cool. Went over to make sure what I'm about to show actually still worked, so that's cool. And then I'm working on this other project where I moved this file. I wasn't sure if it would break it because the thing I made is built on top of another back end, right? So I built like the front end, and I need to get credentials from the back end. And I'm using a like a kind of a project that's already built. And so instead of like using the back end in my own thing, like doing it all from scratch again, I'm kind of slapping mine on top of the front end that was on this project. And so it had like files in a bunch of places or whatever. So I need my files for it to make sense in the context of what I'm doing. Like I had it in the views folder in the backend, but I need it for this project because other folks are going to use it. So I don't want them going all throughout the file structure. I want to be like, hey, go to this one folder and pull what you need. And it looked like it worked. So I just put everything in there. I redirected the routing logic so that it points to this file here. And so people will be able to find, you only need like 2 files to edit. Yeah, 2 files to edit. It's like a walkthrough. And so I wanted to make it as simple as possible for people. Like, all right, you just go to this folder, you can find this one here, and everything's there. You don't need to go to another folder or another folder and folder within a folder. None of that stuff. It's just this folder, which you need to edit is there. So yeah, so I'm glad that went well. So that's pretty dope. So I wanted to show this thing. I spoke about it last Cypher, and I wanted to talk about it because it worked out pretty well. And so I want to kind of talk about it and showcase it so that maybe for myself in the future, I'm like, oh, what was that thing that I did? At least I'll be able to know and have the links to it so I can go back and try it out if I ever need to. Now, the thing I am talking about, so last time I spoke about how building this project. I need to do the entire screen probably. Yeah. I'm gonna do the entire screen because it's so cool to me. Like the stuff that you can do on the web is amazing. And so here is the proof of concept I've been working on. Now, it's for a thing I'm going to be launching in a few months, where they're like live streams, and they're like actual code-alongs. So I'm kind of taking the workshops and things I've been doing and making them more online friendly, because a lot of my workshops were in person. And so people were able to like see me right there physically and have the browser to where they can code along. Cause that's the way I do my workshops is that we build stuff and you build it in the browser. So that way I don't have to worry about what's already on your system. If you have this thing, don't have this thing, you just need a browser and we're good to go. So now I'm making that more like online friendly. And with that, so like here's where like the online in-browser editor will go while we're doing the coding, right? And then these 3 boxes, so the first 2 are like it'd be like my video, and then maybe have a guest video, and then like any screen sharing here. So what I talked about last time was that I had this option. So if you're coding along and you get stuck, and you're like, hey, what was that thing that they did? Then you'll be able to expand this. And so it goes on top of your editor so that you can see like, oh, okay, this is what they did. Let me go back, and then you can go back. All right. So I got that working. Cool. What I wanted to try and do is, because there's this thing, we spoke about this before previously, the picture in picture for any element, not just video. I think it might have been this one specifically, this article that we showed before, right? So pretty sure we spoke about this. Super cool. And so it's called the Document Picture in Picture API. And you can find more information, of course, on Mozilla Developer Network, MDN. And so I'm going to post a link to this as well. This one, yes. This one here. Let me scroll back. So yeah, using it. There we go. So I'm going to add this to the list of links. So these will be next to the recording of the video on the website. All right. So this was very, very helpful. And then they have a demo. So I guess let me show this demo because it's a little bit easier, I guess, to kind of see. Then I can show what I'm showing. So I don't know if you've ever been to on a site where previously, I've seen it on a lot of news sites where they'll have like the video big in the top, right? And you can like click play. And if you want to read the article below, as you scroll up, the video will kind of like pop out and stay out at the top of your browser. So regardless of whatever tabs you're on, it's always on the top. So that was only for the video element, but this takes it even further to whatever like element that you want. So that's why it's the document picture in picture. So whatever you want, not just video elements. And so like for example here, I'll click this and you see it popped up in like a whole separate like window. And so like I can move this off of the thing. So on my other monitor. So that's pretty cool. And I can like switch tabs and it stays at the top. Dope. And then I can pull it back. Great. Now, so what I'm thinking for my project, also, it's not necessarily the greatest compatibility. So I think it was here they had it. So you see it's experimental technology. And so limited availability. For some reason, they say it's not in Chrome, but it's in Edge. But I'm using Chrome and it worked. So I'm not sure what that's about. And you see Firefox and Safari, not yet. Right. So it's still limited availability and it's experimental. But what I'm going to do is that this button will not show up in any browsers that don't allow for picture in picture with the document picture in picture API. And so the reason you can see this is because this browser supports it. So it's basically like progressive enhancement. All right. And so if you're on a browser that doesn't support it, then it won't show up and you can still do the expand. All right. But if you wanted to be able to, let's say you have multiple windows and you want to kind of like have the videos and the screen share larger, right? So now we can do the picture in picture. So it does like this, bam. And so I can I think this is the largest size that goes here, but I can resize this if need be. Like if I'm just like, all right, so let me put this, maybe you just want let me resize this. Oh, that's as far as it goes. Okay. So yeah. So let's say you just wanted your in-browser editor as big as possible. Another option that could be is that, and I might do this, I might put a link in here so that it will pop open into a new window. So maybe if you want to have the browser as big as possible. So I'll think of that. We'll see. But so now with this, I'm able, so if I wanted my in-code browser editor as big as possible, I can then pop this out, have the video still going. And if I have the room, I can move this to another window. Like if I have another monitor or whatever, and just have that big there and be able to work on stuff. And yeah, so worked out pretty well, I think. It was pretty dope. All right. And then, so what's cool is, so you can see it's back here now. So when I click toggle picture in picture, it goes back. and you see the iframe moves back into its space. So this has space for this. Now, if I do this again, so there's also a button here that's in the browser, and it says like back to tab. You click that, that'll also work. So there's different ways of being able to toggle like back and forth. Now, there's also the X button, so you can click the X button and that'll get rid of it as well. Cool. So that's how it works, and I'm kind of like hyped about it. Now, the code. So here, let me see. There's the styles. I am looking for. Okay, so a couple of things I had to do to make this work, right? Now, I spoke about container queries previously, and what I did was I kind of had to put, first, I was trying to do things on the videos, like element here. I can't change the values on the container itself, which kind of makes sense. So then I had to add this videos container. Cool. Now, the issue I was running into now was kind of similar to where I wasn't able to, with this here, I needed to be able to, so these videos, so because I have it split up, there's a div surrounding the videos. There's another div, well, it's a section that I call surrounding called videos. Then there's divs. So there's a camera div for like the webcams and a screen div for the screen sharing. Cool. Then in order to get the container queries working the way I want, I had to wrap all that again into a videos container. All right. So then when I started playing around with the picture-in-picture stuff, like the way I had it set, for some reason, like this frame would go behind it, even though I had both things like in a flex box. So I had to, like, it was weird because I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Because I don't have a thing on there. I'm using display grid to be able to make it work the way I want, right? So since I was using display grid, there wasn't really a width value on it. So I needed to put it in another container so that I could put a width on it. And I'm still kind of like playing around with stuff. Like right now, I just got it working. Then I'm gonna look to see how I can optimize it by playing around with it. But so far, that's how it is. So I had to then wrap it in this video spacer. And in the CSS, I have the so the video spacer, I now have this width so I can set it. But then I was running it. So then my thought was, all right, so all I need to do is when I click the button to toggle, I will then, because I want the iframe with the in-browser editor to take up the whole space, because it doesn't make any sense if it's toggled out to have that 320 gap on the side. So I was thinking, oh, I'm going to have to like listen for the event and then like set the like width to like 0 or something and do a whole bunch of stuff or whatever, right? No. Came across this thing, display contents. Because I was like, okay, maybe I'd do display none, but then that was acting weird because I needed to go back into the space. That was a whole nother thing, because I need a video spacer element because I need to be able to insert back this video container when it's in that toggle picture-in-picture outside of it. I need to be able to append it back into the DOM. And so without this, I wouldn't be able to. I'd have to try and do something like find this one and then do it before it, like prepend maybe. That might have worked. I'm not sure. But I just did this video spacer because for me in my brain, that made it work. So video spacer. So I have that here. So and I was thinking, oh, I'm going to do like display none or make the width 0. And it's like all this stuff I have to like then do display block to when I want to show it. It was a whole thing. Then I was just kind of like scrolling through the options of display and I saw contents. was like, what's contents? I tried it and it worked. So anytime that, so you can see it's taking up space here. But then when I toggle picture in picture, you see it move back because the contents are now in this actual picture in picture. So I don't have to worry about it anymore. And so I can toggle back. And so now there's contents in it. So now it spaces it and moves it over. Awesome. So I want to read up more about it. And so I went to Mozilla Developer Network. I'm going to add a link to this. Now, I don't fully understand what it's saying it does, but it worked in my project. So here it is. So the box, display box. So these values define whether an element generates display boxes at all. Cool. So now, so contents, because I was like, I'm going to have to do none, but then when I do none, I'm going to have to do like block, but then I think I'm using it in a flex, like the whole thing, all right? But with contents, these elements don't produce any specific box by themselves. They are replaced by their pseudo box and their child boxes. Cool. Please note that the CSS display level 3 spec defines how the contents value should affect, quote, unusual elements. Elements that aren't rendered purely by CSS box concepts, such as replaced elements. And they have links to these things that you can check out. No clue what any of that means, but it worked for what I needed it to. And so that's awesome. And yeah, so got it working. And again, it's a progressive enhancement, so it'll only show up in browsers that support it. And yeah, so I thought that is pretty cool. And then, so then you'll be, I think I showed this, but then you'll be able to size this to whatever you want. And then maybe put on another window if you like. And what's cool is that, so if I close this, right? And so you see it's not expanded. Well, I don't even think it matters. Like if I expand it, well, wait, let me do something. Because it almost like saved it. So if I go like, because when I do the toggle, because you can set the size of the toggled window. And so I have it based on, so let me go back to here. So right now they're all lined up, right? So I have it based on what this container size is. So if I have it expanded here, and then I do picture in picture, see, it makes it big there, even though previously it was like one column. And yeah, so that's pretty dope. I mean, I'm kind of happy how it turned out, just kind of messing around with it. So yeah, so if you ever need to do anything similar, just now know that there's this pretty cool toggle document picture in picture API that's still pretty limited, but it's getting there. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of share that. I thought that was cool. Yeah, so let me stop the screen share. And I'm going to get y'all back to work because there's a couple more things I want to work on this other project that I'm trying to get ahead of. And so I made a good start with that index.html file being moved. So that's good because I'm feeling pretty good about this current side project. And I pretty much got what I wanted done for today. So I'm moving on to this other thing that I need to get done sooner. So I'm working on that. So yeah. All right. Cool. So I'm going to get y'all back to work. Send y'all off with some traveling music. This here is, once it loads, Nujabez featuring a Piney B. The track is called Thank You. Thanks for hanging out. See you 15 minutes after the hour. We'll take a look at an artist's website, listen to some music, watch some videos. Maybe you'll become a fan. So till then, I wish you much productivity. And this is Nujabez featuring a Piney B. Thank you. Y'all be easy. Peace.
Let me start from the heart. I'm born state. I think all the sugar reluctantly. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. I thank you all for showing love to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you how music is more meaning to life. But let me start from the heart. I'm born state. I thank you all for showing love to me. I appreciate this unique opportunity. I'm gonna rock so hard you never stop supporting me. I'm gonna show you